What is up, degenerates? It is Thursday, October 30th, Halloween Eve, and Holy Batman. We had a red day. I think it's good. I think it's healthy. Do we like to see our values go down? No. But I want to show you why this weeds out the suckers. This is my Robinhood. This is my portfolio. You guys know what I own. For the most part, if you watch my videos. But look, this is overnight. The market flat. Around 8 a.m., pre-market start to go down a little bit. And then we hit the open right here, 9:30 a.m. Tank. Choppy, up and down, up and down, up and down. Late day, tank. The close, 4 p.m., that's your bottom. All the suckers were selling and selling all day long. I sold nothing. I've got some distros coming in tonight. I have Robinhood, so OLT, YMAX, YMAG I own will pay tonight on Robinhood. They're always late, like 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So those will be dripped, and I will buy at the open tomorrow. Whatever it is, whether it's up, down, in the middle. But you can see, this is the retail suckers. Sell. Then the institutions come in after hours. Buy. So this is, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it was a huge red day, for sure. But let's talk about some distros. First, a simple one was Maggie, which is Roundhill. Mags was down 3%. Maggie only down 0.14. That's a Mag 7 from Roundhill. They went from 36 cents to 37 cents. That's a raise. That's a 33% yield. Anyway, I don't own it. Not really crazy about it, but I do cover it. Let's look at Income Blast. That is a Tuttle Capital. They have 2 funds now that are trading. BITK, which I was big on a few weeks ago. They paid a massive yield, their first payment, almost 300%. It's been down ever since. I averaged the last 3. They have $1.50 and 50 cents that have now been removed from the 3. So they've paid 5 now. 30 cents, 15 cents, up a little today. They declared 18 cents. They pay Tuesday next week. Their average is 21 cents. That is a 51% yield. Little weak sauce to me, but I like their strategy. I like what they're doing. They do covered calls on IBIT, 0 DTE. So they're not in overnight. There's very little cap on the upside because they're in and out in one day. So unless it goes to the moon in one day, they're pretty safe there. MSTK, which is a MicroStrategy 0 DTE covered call fund. They have a synthetic. They do 0 DTE covered calls using flex options, so they can do 0 DTE every day. We can't. Those are they're only weekly, but they can. So their first payment was today, or declaration today at 50 cents, 114% yield based on that price. So that's Income Blast. I want to talk big about Yieldboost. Also, I want to give a shout out to Christio Me, a new subscriber, wanted me to share my spreadsheet, which I'm not going to do because I do my prediction video on Saturdays. It's got my formulas and all that in there. It's very proprietary. It's very double secret probation kind of stuff. Just kidding, but it's very easy to compile the spreadsheet, and I'll go over just some basic stuff on that. If you still have questions about that, hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on X. I am at Div Degenerates. I'm on there a lot. I'm starting to like X. They've got the Spaces, which is basically a live chat, not just a text chat, but actually people talking about various stuff. Love those. Anyway, let's look at Yieldboost. And I want to show you something huge here. Big red day. Now, Yieldboost from Granite Shares, they do put credit spreads on double leverage funds. So, for example, COYY is they do put spreads on CONL, which is a double leverage Coinbase. The CONL was down 11% today. So Coinbase, you could figure, is down about half of that. They were down. I mean, everything was down. But look what Yieldboost did. Only down 2.81. They have a protective put. So when it goes down too much, that kicks in, and their loss is limited. A couple of green ones. NVYY. NVDL was down 4.03. NVYY was up 0.28. The Palantir one, double leverage, down 4.31. PLYY up 0.32. Look at, I do the average of all of them. The average of the double leverage underlyings was down 8.34%. The Yieldboost funds only down 1.68%. They only captured 20% of the loss. Now, if it's a real green day like that, same thing. They're not going to capture the whole thing because it's just put credit spreads. They're limited by the premium they collect. That's it. But on a big red day like we had today, look at MSTU. Down 15.31%. Facebook, the double leverage, down 22%. The FBYY from Yieldboost only down 7%, so about a third. Meta had earnings yesterday, I think after the close, and it just tanked today. And, you know, earnings, the market is neurotic. It's a mental patient. It reacts to things. I think the market's overbought for sure. So we could see a lot more red days coming. I'm just going to keep buying. Buy. I don't pick the bottom. The market will pick the bottom. And I've got all these shares, and then it's gonna go up again, like it always has. If not, not financial advice, but that's why we do this, because it's exciting. Anyway, so we talked about Yieldboost, but I want to talk about the spreadsheet. This is a Microsoft Excel. Some people use Google Sheets. I know Retire on Dividends uses Google Sheets. There's pros and cons to both. My biggest gripe with Microsoft Excel is they don't update their share prices. Once they load, like I have TSYY highlighted here. Let me zoom in a little bit. You type in a ticker, and you can format to pull and boom, it pulls it up. Then equals A4 dot bracket, previous close bracket. It updates every day. Closing price it's not real time. It's not date. It's not throughout the day. It's just closing price. And then equals A4 dot change percentage, closing bracket. Again, pause this video if you want. If you want to copy those, that's fine. So down 0.38. But like COYY, newer funds, but they're very slow. If you go to data, I've highlighted that cell. Data, stocks, and it'll try to find it. You look over here, it says it can't find it. So for those, I enter these manually. So there is work involved. COYY is at 1386 at the close, down 2.81%. This column, I do a conditional format. So if it's negative, it's red. Positive, it's green. There you would go to conditional formatting and highlight cell rules greater than want to change it. Greater than 0, and then you can change your font if you want it red. I do the white background and then the red. I said greater than, so green. Then you do it again, less than, for red. So that's how you do that. So that way it automatically, so if I put in positive 2.81, it'll turn green. See? But it was negative 2.81. Red. And then most of the underlines are in there. You just, you put in the ticker and you go to home, data, close this. No changes. Discard. There we go. So like I'm on CONL here. Data. Stocks. And it'll populate the share, and then you put the formula. And again, YouTube, Google, AI, Gemini, Copilot, Grok. You can figure this stuff out. It's not hard. So anyway, that's how I make these tabs down here. I've got Rec Shares, Yield Max, Defiance, Yieldboost, Income Blast, Roundhill, Bitwise, my top 10, my portfolio, which I delete because I never use that because I use Snowball Analytics, however you want to call it. But let's go back to Yield. So that's that. Then I do, so I have the one we're looking at, and again it tries to pull it up. Eventually it stops. Price, the change, the underlying, the price, the change. Then I just divide C2, which is the change, divided by F2, which is the underlying change. I get 24%. So COYY only captured 24% of that loss. Then I average the last 3 distributions. And they declared today, and I put those in. So we'll go over those, and we'll show the yields. COYY is paid 42 cents, 38 cents, 40 cents. I divide them by 3. I get 40 cents average. That divided by the price times 52 weeks, because they pay weekly, 152% yield. And then again, you can conditional format, which is right here on home, conditional format, top and bottom rules. I go to top 10% and then I change it to 1% because I just want the top one. Top 1%. I want no background. And then if it's top 1, I want green. If it's bot, and then you go back and do bottom 1 for red. So I don't want that. There we go. Okay, so COYY is the top yielder of Yieldboost, 152%. HOYY declared 60 cents. They're at average 59, 140% yield. TSYYs paid 20, 20, 20. Love it. 136. That's my biggest holding. I highlight these in blue if I own them. And TSYY is my biggest holding. My second biggest holding has gone from Coney to iCoy. I didn't sell any Coney. I've just been adding iCoy from Bitwise. SMYY, 64 cents to 61 cents, 145% yield. AMYY, 48 to 48, 96% yield. XBTY, 30 to 30, 100% yield. And that's a Bitcoin. If you want Bitcoin exposure, that's solid. NVYY, NVIDIA, again, these are all double leverage that they do put credit spreads on. 44 cents, 44 cents, 94% yield. PAY, which is Palantir, 44 to 47, 95% yield. BBYY has only paid twice. That is Babo or Alibaba. I like to say Babo. But anyway, 46 cents, 47 cents, divide by 2, 47 average, 99% yield. MTYY, which is strategy. I still hate the word strategy. It's MicroStrategy because we have a strategy of trading. Strategy is a company too now. So anyway, 35 cents, 33 cents, 113% yield. TQQY, which is the Qs, 1818, 49% yield. YSPY, which is the S&P, 1819 cents. These are all weekly, remember, 49% yield. AZYY, Amazon, 22 cents, 22 cents, 49% yield. FBYY, which is Facebook, Meta, they paid twice, 23 cents, 24 cents, 54% yield. You can see these distributions they're consistent. You're not seeing 80 cents, then 20 cents, then 50 cents, then 13 cents. They're consistent. And I average, again, just average I2 to I15. There are 15 I have. Well, there's 14 of them. You know, row 1 is just the headings. So I average them. And 98% is the average of the Yieldboost yields. So the name is proper, Yieldboost. So that's that. That's how I get to that. And then when I do my guesstimates, my predictions, which I'll do Saturday for the next week's declarations, I put in the IVs of the underlyings, and I predict the next payment, which I've not updated these, so don't go by any of these at all. And then I do the yield for that, average there. I also do how many dollars it takes to make $1,000 a month, based on a 4-week month. And it, COYY wins. That's green. That's the bottom. I kind of flipped the conditional formatting there because you don't want to pay more money for $1,000 a month. You want to pay less. So $7,800 in COYY will get you $1,000 a month in distributions if nothing changes, price and payments. Of course it changes. That's why this is not financial advice. But you get the gist. I like to do that. And then I put in the declarations Thursday, Friday is X date, payday is Tuesday, and I just type those in. So that's how I do my spreadsheet. If you got questions on that, feel free to ask, and I can do a deeper dive at another point. But it's pretty simple. And again, YouTube, AI, Gemini, Copilot, Grok. I was pretty illiterate with this when I started doing it. I started doing it because no one covered all of them like I do. I want to know who is paying the highest yield. Not today's yield, but average yield. And you can't do average of the last 12 months because they're all over the place. I like average of the last 3. That gives me a pretty good thing to go by. And then Sundays I do my top 10 based on those top yielders. ICOI has been number 1, will remain number 1, we'll see, but we'll do that Sunday. And you never know, like Income Blast. I mean, they went from 300% a month ago to 51%. So, but I bought some, I'm dripping it, I'll keep adding to it. Maybe it'll pay higher in the future. I like their strategy. I like IBIT, the underlying. It's a Bitcoin exposure, so we'll just something to keep an eye on. I don't sell anything. This is my first year. I started investing in these in January, and I've just been buying, reinvesting, buying. I've never sold one. I've never taken any money out. I probably will do a rebalance before the end of the year. for a capital loss, just to offset some taxes. I hate paying taxes, so if I can pay less, I will. And I'm thinking something like Coney. Coney has been well for me. It's a little upside down on what I paid for it, but it's paid me more distributions than I've lost in NAV. But it's a capital loss. So thinking about that one and moving, selling that, moving it to something else. I know there's wash sale rules and all that, which, that's a longer conversation. But anyway, I want to talk about that. And we talked about the red day. Red day, look at that. And here we go. And this is real time. It's 6:27 p.m. right now. I will, post this as soon as I'm done within the next few minutes. But look, this is the suckers. Sell, 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 sell. This is the winners. They're buying back in. And you may see the same thing tomorrow. By the way, I might maybe talk about it in the future, some options trades. I do iron condors on the S&P, SPX, and that works well. It ties up some capital, so I'm not really crazy about it anymore, but we can talk about it. And if you have questions, let me know. What else did we want to talk about? That's it. Yeah, that's all I got. Questions? Hit me up. Hit the like. Hit the, give me a comment. Share the video. Whatever you got to do. Anyway, have a great day. We'll do something tomorrow. We'll see how the market does. But, the beauty about these funds is we don't care. If it's down, we're still buying. If it's up, we're not selling. We're just collecting more money. These are income funds. Remember that. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.